The blue-white orb of Earth filled the view screen as the Confederation inspection vessel cut through the upper atmosphere. Captain Minho watched the aliens with practiced calm. The lead inspector, Lorivan, moved all 6 of his limbs with precise efficiency across the control panels. Earth had joined the Galactic Confederation only months ago. A developing planet granted junior membership status. Your world has substantial water coverage, Lorivan noted, compound eyes reflecting the ocean below. Unusual to develop spaceflight with such limited land mass. We are an adaptable species, Minho replied with a diplomatic smile. This inspection was routine. All new Confederation members underwent thorough evaluation of their defensive capabilities. Earth was expected to have minimal military assets, typical of a pre-Confederation civilization. The humans had declared their modest orbital platforms and atmospheric fighters as required. We will begin standard planetary scans, Lorivan announced, not really asking permission. Minho nodded, touching the communication badge on his collar twice. A silent signal transmitted to stations across the globe. In the command center below the Pacific, Director Sunho received the alert and straightened her uniform. They're beginning scans, she informed her staff. Security protocols active. Remember your training. The inspection proceeded smoothly at first. The aliens catalogued Earth's visible defenses with thinly veiled condescension. Lorivan's assistant, a tall avian being named Krex, kept making notes about Earth's primitive energy generation systems. Your species has potential, Krex chirped. In a few centuries, you might contribute meaningfully to Confederation science. The diplomatic team escorted the inspectors over military bases and space launch facilities that had been carefully prepared for their arrival. Everything was proceeding according to plan until the ship passed over the Central Pacific. The scanner console suddenly emitted a shrill alarm. Lorivan's appendages froze mid-motion. The aliens' breathing tubes expanded in what Minho recognized as their version of surprise. There must be an error in our equipment, Lorivan said, adjusting controls. These readings suggest massive energy signatures beneath your ocean floor. Captain Minho kept his expression neutral. Perhaps underwater volcanic activity. Earth has a geologically active core. No, Lorivan insisted, recalibrating the sensors. These are artificial energy patterns. Massive artificial energy patterns. The alien turned all 4 eyes toward Minho. Explain these readings immediately. In the Pacific Command Center 3 miles beneath the ocean surface, alarms flashed silently on Director Sunho's screens. She watched the Confederation vessel changing course, now circling directly above their position. They've detected the base, her second-in-command said, voice tight with tension. Sunho opened the secure communication channel to all underwater facilities. Attention all commands. Implementation Revelation Protocol. Authorization Sunho 7 Delta. Around the world, in the deepest parts of Earth's oceans, security systems activated. Massive energy shields powered up. Ancient camouflage systems shifted to defensive posture. Centuries of preparation were coming to fruition in a matter of minutes. On the surface, Minho's communication badge vibrated. The signal. He straightened his back and faced the increasingly agitated aliens. Ambassador Taejo will explain everything, he said calmly, gesturing to the newly arrived human diplomat who had entered the bridge. Taejo stepped forward with practiced confidence. Perhaps we should continue this conversation at our underwater diplomatic facility. What you're detecting requires proper context. The aliens had little choice but to agree. Their vessel followed the provided coordinates, descending toward the ocean surface. As they broke through the waves and continued downward, Lorivan's composure cracked entirely. Beneath the waves, massive underwater structures became visible. Not small bases, but entire cities spanning miles across the ocean floor. Enormous hangar bays with ships unlike any Confederation design. Impossible, breathed Krex. Your species claimed only minimal defensive capabilities. When they reached the central facility, the diplomatic bay opened, revealing a docking station large enough to accommodate vessels 10 times their size. As they disembarked, Director Sunho greeted them personally. "Welcome to Pacific Command," she said, "one of Earth's 300 underwater military installations." Lorovin's translator could barely keep up with his agitated speech. "This violates all Confederation disclosure protocols. Your civilization claimed to have only 40 defense vessels." Director Sunho smiled slightly as she pressed a control panel on the wall. The massive view screen activated, showing underwater hangars across Earth's oceans. In each, vessels of incredible size and unfamiliar design stood in perfect formation. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. "Allow me to correct that misunderstanding," Sunho said as the screen showed more and more bases, more and more ships. "Earth doesn't have 40 defense vessels. Earth has 1 million. The aliens stood in stunned silence as humans calmly went about their duties around them. Centuries of secret preparation were finally being revealed to the galaxy. The emergency meeting chamber of the Galactic Confederation buzzed with angry voices. Representatives from 200 worlds demanded answers. At the center of the storm stood Director Sunho and Ambassador Taejo, facing the High Council with calm expressions that only further infuriated the alien delegates. 1 million warships. Supreme Counselor Vex slammed all 4 of his hands on the podium. "Hidden beneath your oceans, this constitutes the largest undisclosed military force in Confederation history." Taejo bowed slightly. "We understand your concerns." Concerns. The Arcturian representative's translator barely kept up with her rapid clicks. Earth joined as a developing world with minimal defensive capability. Your deception threatens the very foundation of our alliance. The chamber's massive screens displayed footage from the inspection ships. Endless rows of vessels hidden in underwater hangars across Earth's oceans. Ships unlike anything in the Confederation fleet, some massive carriers that could swallow small moons, others sleek destroyers with unfamiliar weapon systems. Director Sunho stepped forward. "We request permission to explain." "Explain treason," someone shouted from the gallery. The Chief Inspector Lorovin raised a limb for silence. "Let them speak. I want to hear how they justify this betrayal." Sunho activated a small device. The chamber darkened as a hologram appeared, an old Earth calendar marking the year 2089. 3 centuries ago, she began, a small vessel appeared in Earth orbit. Its occupants were human, but not from our time. Confused murmurs spread through the chamber. They came from a future where the galaxy had faced multiple extinction events. They'd warned us about threats that would come, threats beyond anything humanity could face without preparation. A hologram shifted to show ancient footage, humans in outdated clothing meeting with other humans wearing strange technology. "They called themselves the Travelers," Taejo continued. "They provided us with scientific principles, warnings, and a timeline. They showed us what would happen if Earth joined the galactic community unprepared." "Preposterous," the Denibolan representative thundered. "Time travel is theoretical at best." "For the Confederation, perhaps," Sunho replied. "The Travelers had technologies we still don't fully understand, but their warnings proved accurate at every turn. They predicted the exact year the Confederation would discover Earth. They described your species, your politics, your technologies, centuries before we met you." General Geo, Earth's military commander, stepped forward and pressed another control. New images appeared, massive underwater construction facilities dating back hundreds of years. "We began building the fleet in 2095, he explained. "The earliest ships were crude by today's standards. Each generation improved the designs, incorporating both the principles the Travelers shared and our own innovations." The hologram showed the evolution of Earth's hidden fleet, centuries of secret development conducted beneath the oceans, shielded from detection. "Most of our own population remained unaware," Taejo added. "Only a small percentage of humans knew about the program. We called it the Guardian Initiative, a multi-century project to ensure human survival." Supreme Counselor Vex leaned forward, eyes narrowed. "Even if we believe this fantastic tale, which I do not, It does not excuse violating Confederation transparency laws. We violated nothing, Director Sunho countered. Review our admission documents. Earth declared current active defense platforms as required. Our underwater fleet was not active. It was in reserve status, awaiting the threats the travelers warned would come. The alien delegates conferred among themselves. Legal experts huddled in corners, reviewing Earth's admission documents. Technically, the Confederation's chief legal advisor admitted reluctantly, they followed the letter of our laws, if not the spirit. Admiral Taejun of Earth's Fleet Command activated the final presentation. We did not build this fleet to threaten the Confederation. We built it to save it, and ourselves. The hologram now showed mathematical projections, stellar maps with ominous movement patterns approaching from beyond the galaxy's edge. According to the travelers, Taejun continued, the first threat will arrive within months. A species they call the Harvesters, a nomadic civilization that consumes inhabited worlds and converts all matter into more ships. They've destroyed 12 galaxies before reaching ours. Stunned silence fell over the chamber. The Confederation's combined fleet numbers approximately 3,000 vessels. Sunho said quietly, the Harvester Vanguard alone will number 50,000. Without Earth's hidden fleet, there is no chance of survival. The silence deepened as the implications sank in. We kept our secrets not out of treachery, Taejo concluded, but because the travelers warned us that premature disclosure would lead to technological theft, political fragmentation, and ultimately defeat. The galaxy needed to meet humanity as we are, ready to fight for all our survival. The emergency alarms chose that precise moment to begin blaring throughout the chamber. A junior officer burst through the doors, breathing hard. Long-range detection grid reports unknown vessels entering the galaxy. He shouted over the alarms. Massive fleet, unknown configuration, approaching at sublight speed. Director Sunho met Admiral Taejun's eyes. The moment they had prepared for across centuries had finally arrived. Red emergency lights bathed the Confederation's Central Command in an ominous glow. Admiral Jun moved with practiced calm through the chaos as alien officials rushed between stations. The massive view screen showed the approaching Harvester fleet, thousands of biomechanical ships moving in perfect formation toward the galaxy's edge. Long-range scans confirm 53,000 vessels in the first wave alone, reported Commander Mina, the only human officer on the Confederation's strategic team. Second and third waves following behind, numbers still being calculated. Supreme Admiral Zlark, a tall crystalline being who commanded the Confederation's combined forces, stared at the tactical display with growing horror. His crystalline structure darkened with stress, the equivalent of a human paling. 3,000 Confederation ships against this, he whispered. Impossible odds. The emergency session of the High Council was broadcast to the command center. Supreme Counselor Vex's voice carried through the speakers. We must begin immediate evacuation of border worlds, he announced. Priority to core species and essential technology. We cannot stop this force. A ripple of dismay spread through the command center. Even with evacuation, billions would be lost. Admiral Jun stepped forward to address Zlark directly. There is another option, he said. All eyes turned to him. The humans' calm in the face of apocalypse unsettled many of the alien officers. Earth formally offers its defensive fleet for the protection of the Confederation. Jun continued. 1 million ships, fully crewed and ready for immediate deployment. Zlark's crystalline form vibrated with suspicion. Your hidden fleet. Even if these numbers are true, how can we trust you? You've deceived us from the beginning. The main doors slid open as Director Sunho entered with Ambassador Taejo. They approached without waiting for permission, their urgency overriding protocol. We don't have time for trust issues, Sunho said bluntly. The Harvesters will reach the Arcturus sector in 14 hours. The first inhabited worlds will be consumed within 20. She activated a small device, and the main tactical display changed. It now showed Earth, its oceans churning with activity. Our fleet is deploying now, she explained. We've been preparing for this moment for centuries. On the screen, the oceans of Earth boiled with movement. First dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of massive ships broke the surface. They rose into the atmosphere in perfect formation, vessels of every size and configuration, unlike anything the Confederation had ever built. Commander Minna's console beeped continuously as it tried to catalog the emerging armada. Current count exceeds 800,000 vessels, and still rising, she reported, unable to keep the pride from her voice. The image shifted to Earth's orbit, where the fleet was arranging itself into a massive formation. At its center were 50 enormous carriers, each 20 kilometers long. Around them, thousands of destroyers, cruisers, and specialized craft formed protective layers. 1,000,000 ships, Tejo said quietly. As promised, in the council chamber, silence had fallen as they watched the same images. Even the most skeptical delegates could not deny what they were seeing. "How can your world cruise so many vessels?" someone finally asked. "Advanced automation," Sunho explained. "Most ships require minimal crews. Some are fully autonomous. We've been training our best for generations, rotating duty across centuries." The tactical officer's voice cut through the moment. "Harvester Vanguard has increased speed. They've detected our preparations." Zlark turned to Admiral June. "If your fleet is real, if it can do what you claim, what do you need from us?" June nodded to Taijo, who activated detailed tactical plans. "The Confederation fleet must hold these 7 choke points," he explained, highlighting star systems on the map. "Not to defeat the harvesters, just to slow them while Earth's fleet moves into position." Sunho stepped closer. "Our vessels use different technologies, different tactical systems than you're familiar with. We need Confederation officers on our command ships to facilitate coordination. And one more thing," June added. "Earth must have full tactical command of this operation. Our ships, our strategies." The travelers were clear. Traditional Confederation tactics will fail against the harvesters. Zlark's crystalline form darkened further. "You ask much. We offer more," Sunho countered. On the tactical display, Earth's fleet had completed its formation. As one, they activated their drive systems, not the standard blue glow of Confederation engines, but a strange silver-purple light that seemed to bend space around each vessel. "My God," whispered a Confederation officer. "They're using dimensional fold technology. We thought that was theoretical." Earth's fleet vanished from the solar system in a massive flash of light, reappearing instantly at the galaxy's edge, directly in the path of the oncoming Harvester Armada. Admiral June turned to Zlark. "We need your answer now. Will the Confederation stand with Earth, or will you evacuate while we fight alone?" Zlark looked around at his officers, then at the tactical display showing Earth's impossible fleet moving into battle formation against the approaching enemy. "We stand with Earth," he said finally. "May whatever gods exist help us all." Fleet Commander Hannah stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Defiance, watching the tactical display with intense focus. The million-ship Earth Armada had formed into a formation no Confederation strategist would recognize, a complex, ever-shifting pattern that looked chaotic to untrained eyes. "Harvester Vanguard approaching visual range," reported Captain Doyun, her tactical officer. 53,000 vessels in first-wave formation. Beside Hannah stood Admiral Zlark, the Confederation's supreme commander. The crystalline being watched with a mixture of doubt and hope as Earth's unconventional battle plan unfolded. "This formation leaves your flanks exposed," Zlark noted with concern. "The harvesters will surround you." As the massive enemy ship approached, the Earth flagship began to transform. Sections of its hull reconfigured, revealing a massive central weapon unlike anything Zlark had ever seen. "Dimensional inverter powered," reported the weapons officer. "Target locked." "Fire," Hannah ordered calmly. The weapon didn't emit a beam or launch a projectile. Instead, it created a point of absolute darkness that expanded rapidly, engulfing the Harvester Prime. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a flash of light that temporarily blinded the sensors, the massive enemy ship imploded, collapsing into itself. "Target neutralized," Captain Doyum announced. Harvester command structure disrupting across the battlefield. Admiral Zlark stared at the tactical display, where thousands of Earth vessels methodically eliminated the now disorganized harvester ships. "You knew," he said quietly to Hana. "You knew exactly how to fight them." Hana nodded. "For 300 years, we've known. Every ship, every weapon, every tactic, all designed for this day." Around them, the battle continued. Earth's million-ship fleet was taking losses, but far fewer than expected. The harvesters, for the first time in their long history of conquest, were losing. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation had been rebuilt in the 3 months since the Battle of the Rim. The old hierarchical design was gone, replaced by a perfect circle where all species sat as equals. At the center of the chamber stood a monument, a holographic display showing the final moment. The enemy vessels poured through the gaps, clearly intent on surrounding the scattered Earth fleet. What looked like a catastrophic mistake to Confederation observers was exactly what Commander Hana had planned. "Now," she said quietly. Phase 2. Throughout the battlefield, Earth's smaller vessels suddenly activated previously concealed systems. They released clouds of microscopic machines that spread quickly through space, attaching to harvester ships. The enemy vessels began to slow as the tiny machines interfered with their biological components. "Nanite swarms deployed and functioning," reported the technology officer. "Harvester communication patterns disrupting." The massive harvester ships, now moving sluggishly, found themselves isolated from each other as Earth's vessels regrouped with impossible speed. What had appeared to be a scattered retreat was revealed as an elaborate trap. "All battle groups, execute attack pattern Sun-O," Hana commanded. Earth's larger vessels now revealed their true purpose. They weren't carriers as the Confederation had assumed, but massive energy platforms. They activated weapon systems unlike anything the galaxy had seen, beams that didn't destroy the harvester ships directly but instead altered the space around them. "Dimensional anchor systems online," Captain Doyun confirmed. "Localized space-time barriers forming." Admiral Zlark watched in astonishment as sections of the battlefield seemed to warp and twist. "What is happening?" he demanded. "We're changing the rules," Hana explained. "The travelers told us the harvesters can adapt to any conventional weapon, so we created unconventional ones." The harvester ships found themselves trapped in bubbles of altered spacetime, where their adaptive biological technology functioned differently. Their previous advantages, instantaneous communication, rapid evolution, energy absorption, were neutralized. "All combat groups, engage targets," Hana ordered. Earth's destroyers and cruisers closed in on the immobilized harvesters. Their weapons were surprisingly simple compared to their other technology, mass drivers and kinetic projectiles rather than energy beams. The simple physics of physical impacts proved devastating against the harvesters' now vulnerable hulls. "The Confederation fleet is in position at the 7 choke points," reported the communications officer. "They're holding the second wave back." Hana nodded with satisfaction. The battle was far from over, but the first phase was proceeding exactly as the ancient simulations had predicted. The harvesters, for all their terrifying power, were following the patterns the travelers had warned about. As the first wave of enemy ships were systematically neutralized, a massive harvester vessel, nearly twice the size of the others, broke through the battle line. It accelerated directly toward the Defiance, clearly targeting the command ship. "Harvester Prime detected," Captain Doyun warned. "It's adapting to the dimensional barriers." Hana didn't appear concerned. She pressed a command on her console, activating a private channel to Admiral Zlark. "Watch carefully," she said. "This is what we built the Defiance for. As promised, we offer our dimensional technology to the Confederation," she announced. "Our shipyards have already begun adapting the designs to be compatible with your vessels." The technical representatives leaned forward eagerly. Earth's dimensional technology, the ability to manipulate space-time itself, represented an advancement that would have taken the Confederation centuries to develop independently. Hannah smiled slightly. That's exactly what we want. The massive view screen showed the approaching enemy, organic-looking ships that resembled massive insects, their hulls covered with strange protrusions that seemed to pulse with internal light. They moved with perfect coordination, adapting their formation as they detected Earth's fleet. All ships, execute Phase 1, Hannah ordered calmly. Across the vast battlefield, Earth vessels suddenly accelerated in directions that seemed random. Instead of holding a defensive line as Confederation doctrine taught, they fragmented into thousands of smaller battle groups. Each group moved independently, creating gaps that the harvester ships immediately rushed to fill. "They're taking the bait," Captain Doyum announced, harvester forces dividing to pursue. In return, Zhu Yun added, "We ask for your biological sciences." The next threat, according to the travelers, will target living systems rather than physical structures. Your expertise in xenobiology far exceeds our own. And so the new alliance was formed, not with Earth as a junior member, but as an equal partner with unique strengths. The formal treaty was signed that day, establishing the United Galactic Defense Force, combining Earth's hidden fleet with the Confederation's existing forces. In the underwater shipyards beneath Earth's Pacific Ocean, Chief Engineer Juno oversaw the construction of the newest vessel class. These ships incorporated both Earth's dimensional technology and the Confederation's advanced biological systems, truly hybrid vessels for a new era. "Will they be ready in time?" asked his assistant, looking at the massive ships taking shape. Junho smiled slightly. "They must be. The traveler's timeline gives us 27 years before the next threat arrives." The assistant frowned. "Do you ever wonder why they came back? The travelers? Why warn us specifically?" Junho paused his work, looking up at the enormous vessel under construction. Captain Doyun asked one of them that question back in 2089. "Do you know what they said?" The assistant shook her head. "They said, in our timeline, Earth fell first. When Earth fell, the galaxy followed. We came back to change one point in history, to help Earth stand when the darkness came." Above them, through the transparent dome of the underwater facility, they could see Earth vessels moving in formation with Confederation ships, conducting joint training exercises. Two civilizations learning from each other, preparing together. Engineer Junho returned to his work with renewed purpose. "The future is never certain," he said quietly. "But this time, we're writing it together. On Earth's moon, in a secure facility built into the lunar rock, the last remaining traveler ship sat under constant guard. Its technology was still beyond even Earth's understanding. A reminder that the path ahead remained long and challenging. But for the first time in centuries, that path would not be walked alone.